Sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, is one of the most consequential aspects of aging, and it's largely preventable with proper intervention. But here's what's frustrating. Most people don't understand how protein metabolism fundamentally changes with aging, so they continue eating protein the way they did when younger, and it's inadequate. The problem is called anabolic resistance. As you age, your muscles become less responsive to protein intake. The same amount of protein that effectively stimulated muscle protein synthesis when you were 30 does significantly less when you're 60. You need more protein per meal to achieve the same muscle-building effect. This isn't a minor difference. Studies show older adults might need 40 to 50% more protein per meal to maximally stimulate muscle protein synthesis compared to younger adults. The leucine threshold is critical here. Leucine is an essential amino acid that triggers mTOR activation and initiates muscle protein synthesis. Younger adults might reach this threshold with 20 to 25 grams of high-quality protein per meal. Older adults may need 35 to 40 grams per meal to hit that threshold. If you're eating smaller amounts of protein spread throughout the day, you might never reach the threshold needed to actually build muscle. Protein distribution matters more than most people realize. Total daily protein is important, yes, but how you distribute it across meals is crucial for older adults. 3 meals with adequate protein at each meal appears superior to small amounts spread across many meals or one large protein intake. You want to hit that leucine threshold 3 times daily to maximally stimulate muscle protein synthesis throughout the day. Timing around resistance training is particularly important. Consuming protein shortly after resistance training, within a couple hours, takes advantage of the heightened muscle protein synthesis response to exercise. This is the anabolic window, and while it's not as narrow as once thought, it's still relevant, especially for older adults with anabolic resistance. Essential amino acids deserve specific mention. You can actually use essential amino acid supplementation, particularly rich in leucine, to boost muscle protein synthesis without consuming full protein meals. This is useful for older adults who might have decreased appetite or difficulty consuming large amounts of protein. 10 to 15 grams of essential amino acids can provide a significant muscle protein synthesis stimulus. Plant versus animal protein is a legitimate consideration for older adults. Animal proteins are generally higher in leucine and more bioavailable. Plant proteins can work, but you typically need larger quantities to achieve the same muscle protein synthesis response. Combining plant proteins to ensure complete essential amino acid profiles becomes more important. If you're relying primarily on plant proteins, you need to be more strategic about quantity and combinations. Here's the mTOR balance dilemma. You want mTOR activated for muscle protein synthesis, but chronic mTOR activation may not be optimal for longevity. The solution appears to be pulsatile activation. You activate mTOR through protein intake and resistance training, then you have periods like overnight fasting where mTOR is suppressed and autophagy can occur. This isn't contradictory. It's a rhythm of growth and repair. Resistance training protocol matters enormously. Older adults benefit from progressive resistance training just like younger people, but recovery capacity differs. Training frequency might need adjustment. Exercise selection should emphasize compound movements that work multiple muscle groups efficiently. The combination of adequate protein with proper resistance training is synergistic. Neither is sufficient alone. Here's a warning that's important. Excessive protein without exercise doesn't prevent sarcopenia effectively. The muscle-building stimulus from protein requires the mechanical stress of resistance training. Just eating more protein while remaining sedentary won't give you the muscle preservation you need. The practical protocol. Aim for 35 to 40 grams of high-quality protein per meal, 3 meals daily. Include a protein serving post-resistance training. Emphasize leucine-rich sources. Combine this with resistance training 2 to 3 times per week, progressive in nature. This addresses both sides of the muscle preservation equation.